Woj reports that the Warriors are trading Jordan Poole for Chris Paul. Your initial reaction on Twitter is,
Yeah.
please God, no, and bring back Bob. Can you, we get a bit of an
Yeah,
idea there of your initial reaction, but dive into it a little bit more for us.
that's funny. I forgot I tweeted that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I was honestly pretty I was like in shock honestly when it happened. Like I called my friend up. He's a Kings fan, but like he's also, Sac and San Francisco are close, so he's a Warriors fan too kinda. And he was like we were both like, what? Like what's go I like at first I didn't really know like what the point of it was. But like my original reaction was just like shock and like I hated it at first. I mean, as you could see from my what I tweeted, like especially this is what Mike Dunleavy, it was like one of his first moves as GM, new GM. It's like it seems so like it's just so dramatic of a move. And like I since then though I think I've kind of it's sobered. I'm a little more sober. And I can kind of see the vision. I think I think it's really put the Warriors into like a one last dance type of scenario. Like I get like, Jordan Poole, we signed him for a huge contract before the new CBA deal or whatever. And so, that has implications. And they probably didn't want to ride that, contract, the new tax stuff. But like I'm a huge fan of Jordan Poole. I think he was like, I mean, besides the big playoff, I think my biggest problem with the trade was I felt like Jordan Poole could command a lot more value. And I still think that. Like I thought Chris Paul, like I like Chris Paul. I think he's definitely in the twilight of his career, but I thought he was going to get bought out. And I thought that was like the popular conception, right? Was that he was going to get bought out after he
Yeah.
got traded to the Wizards. But to see the Warriors trade like a franchise cornerstone in Poole for him, I was a little flabbergasted. And I mean, I can kind of see the vision now, but I still I'm pretty against it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most Warrior fans are the same. Is your initial reaction is the emotional one and just the complete shock, and you called it obviously dramatic, and that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is. And as time goes by, we can actually analyze why they've done this, and there's clear reasoning behind it. Do you think that Chris Paul is a fit on the Warriors? Because you just mentioned there the buyout aspect of it. I remember like covering it beforehand, there was a genuine possibility that,
Yeah.
hey, could the Warriors get Chris Paul after a buyout for a veterans minimum and potentially go down that
Right.
route? And then
Exactly.
in that perspective, and then in that perspective, trade Jordan Poole for I don't know, one of the Raptors forwards, G Anunoby or Pascal Siakam or someone, front court
Yes.
piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the trade come through where Poole actually gets dealt for Paul. Do you think that CP3 is a fit at the Warriors? Like, how has your perspective of the trade changed in the week since?
Yeah. Like I was saying, I like the trade a little more now. I mean, I do think CP is a fit on the Warriors. Um, I think like he brings like probably he's one of the greatest basketball minds in the history of the game, and I think that will fit amazing with the Warriors. And I think he'll be able to play with Steph, and play with the Warriors in general. I think it would be great for like Kuminga to have like one of the greatest point. I mean, he already has Steph, but now you have someone who's gonna practically spoon feed him. So I think it'll. I mean, I think he's a great fit on the Warriors. I saw recently. I don't know like if anything's changed, but I remember Chris Paul got asked about coming off the bench, and he was kind of hesitant. He was like, "Well, no one's told me I'm coming off the bench," and so that I didn't really like because, I mean, I get his mentality. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame point guard, and like, but like, I think like you kind of, I think that's if he's gonna fit on the Warriors, I think he has to come off the bench and like hopefully it's a smooth transition there. I don't see a starting lineup of, or I don't see a season full of Chris Paul starting, winning the Warriors a championship. And I think the sooner that can be, he can make that transition, then I think the easier it'll be to win during the season and the more cohesive things will be. But yeah, I like you were saying about Jordan Poole. I think like we could have like for me like it would to me. I would have liked it more if we could have traded him to like the Timberwolves and got like Nas Reed. I think Nas Reed would be like I'm a huge Nas Reed fan, and like I think Jordan Poole for Nas Reed would have even been better. Like, but yeah, I think Chris Paul will fit. It's just what we gave up kind of hurts, you know.
Yeah, well, that obviously someone like Nas
Yeah.
Reed that would have
Eh,
saved the Warriors a heap more money as well. Now, obviously, he
yeah.
only just re-signed with the Timberwolves, so I'm not sure about his contractual situation
Right.
there. But even Cat would
At
have
the time,
been,
yeah.
if the Timberwolves want to
Yeah.
keep Nas Reed around, they've
Yeah.
obviously got
I
Rudy Gobert as well. Cat, what do you reckon about that potential?
right. I mean, I would have been cool with that. I guess. I mean, I guess the Warriors again. I think maybe part of the reason they got rid of Poole was because of the contract stuff, and Cat has a big contract in his own. So maybe that's kind of not what they were like, in their framework when they were thinking about it. But I think some it what just occurred to me when the trade went down was about an underrated aspect about Poole was like his durability, and I think I think I might have seen you on the timeline say that. I don't remember exactly it was, but and that's so true that I think like a problem with you know Paul is that like he's definitely in the twilight of his career, like we said. He's not as durable as he used to be. He's been injured a lot, and he's just old, and comes with the territory of being, an older player in the league. And Poole played, I want to say he played every game for the Warriors last season. And like I remember when Curry went out, Poole. It's been a thing that Poole just steps up. Like if you remember the playoffs of the championship run 2022, Curry was coming off the bench because Poole was so hot in the starting lineup. And like I just think like the Warriors are really going to miss Poole's durability, and it's something it's kind of funny. I feel like they've been taking they've been taking Looney's durability for granted, and I think they'll by doing this trade they're taking Poole's durability for granted for sure. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's
absolutely.
just
Yeah, in
another
terms of
aspect. Yeah.
we talk about the prospective names like Cat or Ananobi or Siakam or whoever else it may be. Do you see Chris Paul on the Warriors at the end of next season, or do you think there's a genuine possibility that he's flipped here for a different player again, going back to potential front court needs?
Right. Yeah. I definitely I see him on the Warriors at the end of next season. This just feels like such a like we won't really know until like the trade deadline, it feels like, or somewhere, once we get into the season. I think like we're just gonna have to see the fit for itself. And I think other teams are gonna have to like I could see another team, wanting to get off a big contract like Cat. Like, I mean, maybe we wouldn't get a Chris Paul for Cat trade. That might be a little too extreme, but a team wanting to get because Chris Paul, this is last year of his contract, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. Well,
This
he's
would
got an
be his
option for
he's
the
yeah,
following
it's his
season,
final
but I doubt the Warriors will bring him back on
a
$30.8
player
million.
a player option.
No, team option.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
oh, team. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
it's a
team option. So I mean,
non-guaranteed deal.
really, yeah, exactly. So I mean, he could basically be an expiring contract. So if I'm like the Timberwolves and this Cat and the Cat and Gobert experiment isn't working, and I just want to save a lot of money, then yeah, sure, I might trade away Cat for an expiring deal. So I could, or not just the Timberwolves, but other teams. So I think we're really just gonna have to see what kind of the weather is like in the NBA. But yeah, I could definitely see Chris Paul getting flipped at this point. But I could also see him at the with the Warriors at the end of the season. I think we're just really gonna have to dip our toe in at this team and see what happens.